Wolff's fierce warning before Monaco. The Monaco GP has finally arrived, and Mercedes is the team that has the eyes of the media looking towards it, as the Silver Arrows are bringing a huge upgrade package that's supposed to shed a couple of tenths of a second from Red Bull and Aston Martin. But even though they are bringing a new revolutionary design, it seems like it won't do the miracle that we've been hoping it would do and bring us an interesting season ahead, as Wolff has raised awareness about what we should expect out of the W14 in Monaco. Will we see one of the two Britons standing on the highest place in the Principality, or will we experience deja vu from the previous 5 races? Ever since the 2023 season started, Mercedes was presented with a harsh reality. The design they'd opted for back in 2022 isn't working, and they need to be working towards other solutions if they want to see themselves back at the top. With that being said, after the first race of the season, Mercedes made the announcement that they're opting for a brand new concept of the car, one that will be very similar to what's currently working on the grid, such as Red Bull, Aston Martin and Ferrari's designs, but won't be a direct copy of it. The original race that the design was scheduled for was Imola, but due to the floods, Mercedes were forced to delay the package to Monaco, something that raised a couple of eyebrows throughout the grid. Monaco is a race of survival, and due to the narrow streets and slow speeds of the cars, it's usually a race in which the drivers are only eager to survive. This is why the decision to bring upgrades to such a race was a very questionable one. But before we go into Wolff's warning, let's analyze the decision itself and why it is so important for Mercedes to start harvesting the results of the new design sooner rather than later. When you say new design, it means a lot of things, and it's not just how the car looks, according to Toto Wolff. The new design is basically how the car operates and the entire philosophy around it. And this includes the side pod design, the floor and the front suspension, which are the 3 new parts Mercedes are bringing to Monaco. What the Silver Arrows are hoping for is a great result during the qualifying session here in Monaco, because this is a track that ends mostly based on the qualifying order if nothing spectacular happens. Overtaking is more or less impossible in Monaco, which is why the pit stop strategy and the qualifying laps will have an integral part in determining where the driver will end the race. This is why Mercedes opted to test the new upgrades, ones that will bring a lot of rear downforce to the car on such a specific track. While the team won't be able to extract the maximum data from the upgrades in and out of themselves due to the limits that Monaco poses as a track, they will be able to understand whether the slow corners, something that the W14 has struggled a lot with in the previous 5 races, will be a tackled issue from this race onwards. Apart from that, Mercedes have one very dissatisfied driver in their garage that is yet to continue the collaboration with the team, as Lewis Hamilton has been more and more linked to a departure to one of Mercedes' fiercest rivals, Ferrari. Although these rumors have been denied by Wolff and Leclerc, Ferrari as a team hasn't spoken officially about them, which means that the Monaco upgrades will play a crucial role in determining whether or not the team has chosen the right direction to give Hamilton a championship-winning car sooner rather than later. But while we've been led to believe that Mercedes will be able to see how the upgrades work in Monaco, this has been swiftly denied by Wolff himself, who went on to warn the fans about what he expects out of the car and the entire upgrade package. It seems like Mercedes is playing the long game here, and the fact that they had to compete with a car that wasn't that competitive in the previous season has left a bigger mark than usual, which goes to show that the consequences cannot be repaired with one upgrade package only, and at one race as well. When talking about Monaco's expectations, Wolff went on to add, "The revised calendar means that Monaco is now the starting point of the European leg of the season. It is a unique event, but will still provide an opportunity to learn about the upgrades to W14. But we also need to be careful not to draw too many conclusions from this one event. We are introducing the first step in a new development direction. It won't be a silver bullet. From my experience, they do not exist in our sport. We hope that it gives the drivers a more stable and predictable platform. Then we can build on that in the weeks and months ahead. F1 is a tough competition and meritocracy. We are not where we want to be, but there's no sense of entitlement. It's just about hard work to get us to the front. Mercedes are currently 3rd in the Constructors' Championship, and they found an unusual competitor in Aston Martin, their customer company, as the Silver Arrows have scored just 1 podium, with Hamilton finishing 2nd in Melbourne. While it's definitely a lot of work for the Silver Arrows, the development path is something that they need to set sooner rather than later, because from what we can see, Hamilton's place in the team is endangered. The 7-time world champion is reportedly holding all of the cards as to whether or not he'll continue the collaboration with Mercedes or look in another direction. The Monaco upgrades have a huge part in his decision as well, because, as Wolff said, if the team doesn't provide him with a championship-winning car, then the 38-year-old veteran will have no reason whatsoever to remain with them for the upcoming years. As of now, the SF23, the name of Ferrari's 2023 Challenger, has been the only car that was able to challenge the dominance of the RB19 in any way possible, with Leclerc winning the sprint race and the qualifying session in Baku. The one-lap performance of the Maranello team seems to be very promising, but it's the race pace that needs to be fixed in order for them to be competitive with the bullet that the Austrian team built. Hamilton is definitely the type of driver that can help them navigate throughout, making this scenario possible, but will he be the right solution for the dismantled team? Obviously, the management wasn't the issue, as the same problems from the last season persisted, even though Binotto was replaced with Frédéric Vasseur, the Frenchman that used to lead Alfa Romeo up until last year. So with Ferrari actively trying to shop Hamilton, as the president of the team, John Elkann, has sent a direct offer of £40 million yearly to Hamilton's name, one couldn't help but wonder, is the Maranello team sick and tired of the incompetence of their drivers? And if so, are they showing their cards to the world right now, saying that the problem is indeed with the drivers and not the car or the management? This would be great news for Hamilton's 8th championship, and with the Britons still not denying any potential links to Ferrari, it's safe to assume that these talks will continue for as long as Mercedes doesn't provide the right platform to work with on the W14. Remember, the upcoming races are the ones in which Hamilton and Russell will be able to harvest the goods of the huge upgrade package, because Monaco, although a track with a high downforce requirement, is one that is driven extremely slowly and isn't able to provide the team with proper data about the rear downforce generation or top speed of the car. If Mercedes fails to set a new and improved development direction, then they won't be able to bail on the sorry car anymore, and it's likely that they'll enter into a rebuild mode, with Russell leading the way. Hamilton's only reason for racing is to break the record of Schumacher, something that he was very close to achieving back in 2021, when the last lap of the last race of the season changed the history of the sport forever. But if he cannot do what he needs to do in Mercedes, then Ferrari is waiting for him eagerly, and according to Toto Wolff, there seems to be an issue between the team and Hamilton in terms of how much money the 7-time world champion deserves to be paid annually. This is all good news for Ferrari, but that is all for the near future. As of now, we need to see how Monaco will highlight the strengths of the new upgrades to the W14. Even though Wolff warned us not to expect a lot, in a race that has proven to be very tricky in the past, and a race that is usually won by outsmarting the opponents from the pit wall, it's safe to say that Mercedes has a legitimate chance to score the first win after Brazil last year.